You finish a great workout, endorphins surging through your system, a wave of satisfaction washing over you. Your muscles are pleasantly fatigued and you feel a sense of accomplishment. And almost immediately, you crave more. That feeling of pushing your limits, of challenging yourself, becomes addictive. It's natural to think if one session feels good, providing that rush of positive energy, then surely two must be better. Why stop at one when you can double the benefits, amplify the results? This drive, this ambition, pushes us to lift heavier weights, run faster sprints, and relentlessly chase progress, always striving for that next personal best, that new milestone. We meticulously track our reps, our times, our distances, all in the pursuit of improvement. But ambition, when unchecked, can easily tip into obsession, blurring the lines between dedication and compulsion. The fitness world, with its motivational mantras, often glorifies no pain, no gain, reinforcing the idea that suffering is a necessary ingredient for success. We see images and videos of athletes pushing themselves to the absolute brink, collapsing in exhaustion, their faces contorted in pain, seemingly celebrated for their extreme efforts. Consequently, we start to believe that rest is a sign of weakness, a lack of commitment, a betrayal of our goals. And soreness, that familiar ache in our muscles, becomes a badge of honor, a tangible symbol of our hard work and dedication. We wear it with pride, showcasing our commitment to the grind. This dangerous mindset leads us to ignore our body's crucial signals for recovery, those subtle whispers of fatigue and discomfort that are actually cries for help. Instead of building sustainable strength and resilience, we risk breaking ourselves down, pushing our bodies beyond their limits and setting ourselves up for injury and burnout. Remember, too much of even a good thing can become harmful, negating the very benefits we're striving for. The body needs adequate time to repair and rebuild after each exercise session, to adapt and grow stronger. Without sufficient recovery, we don't just stall our progress and hit a plateau. We actively reverse it, diminishing our performance and potentially entering the dreaded territory of overtraining syndrome. The key is shifting our focus from a relentless pursuit of pure intensity to a more intelligent and strategic approach to training, one that prioritizes both effort and recovery. Work smart, not just hard. Understand that quality trumps quantity when it comes to achieving long-term fitness goals. Learn to truly listen to your body, paying attention to its subtle cues and respecting its limitations. And recognize the crucial difference between productive effort that leads to growth and destructive strain that leads to injury and setbacks. Embrace rest and recovery as an absolutely essential part of your training regimen, not as a luxury or an afterthought. That's how you truly push your limits and achieve your full potential, without paying the ultimate price of burnout, injury, or a complete loss of motivation. It's about longevity and sustainability, not just short-term gains. To effectively tackle the complex issue of overtraining and understand how to prevent it, we first need to clarify our terms and establish a solid foundation of understanding. It's crucial to differentiate between various states of fatigue and stress that athletes experience during training. Overreaching and overtraining, while often used interchangeably, aren't the same thing at all. They represent distinct points on a continuum of training stress, with vastly different implications for your performance and overall well-being. Confusing these terms can lead to misinterpreting your body's signals and making inappropriate training decisions. Imagine a spectrum, a visual representation of the different phases of training stress and adaptation. This spectrum will help us understand the progression from a normal, healthy training response to a state of chronic overtraining. On one end of this spectrum, we have a tough workout, maybe even a series of challenging sessions, followed by quick recovery and noticeable progress. This is the sweet spot where your body adapts and becomes stronger. You push yourself, recover adequately, and reap the rewards. Moving along the spectrum, next is functional overreaching. Functional overreaching is characterized by a short, intense training phase, a period where you deliberately push your limits beyond your usual capacity. This intense phase is then followed by a period of rest and recovery, which ultimately leads to a performance boost, exceeding your previous baseline. It's a planned and strategic way to overload the body, knowing that it will adapt positively with sufficient recovery. But if the intensity drags on for too long, or if recovery is consistently skipped or inadequate, it transitions into non-functional overreaching. This is where the problems begin. Now, instead of improving, performance stalls or even drops despite your continued efforts. You might feel constantly fatigued and your motivation may wane. And unlike functional overreaching, recovery from this state takes significantly longer, often weeks or even months of reduced training or complete rest. Push too far beyond this point, consistently ignoring the warning signs, and you enter true overtraining syndrome, a state that can have devastating consequences for your athletic career and overall health. Overtraining syndrome is a chronic state of profound exhaustion, persistent underperformance, and a host of other debilitating symptoms. This isn't simply the result of a few hard training sessions. It's much more than that. It's the result of long-term accumulated stress on the body, a chronic imbalance between training load and recovery capacity. Overtraining fundamentally breaks down your body's ability to adapt to training stimuli. The physiological systems that are normally responsible for getting stronger become impaired. Your endocrine systems, responsible for hormone regulation, your nervous systems, which control everything from muscle activation to cognitive function, and even your immune systems, which protect you from illness, all suffer significantly. Recovery from overtraining syndrome can take months of dedicated rest and rehabilitation, or in severe cases, even years, to fully restore your body's function and performance capacity. Therefore, understanding where you currently are on this spectrum of training stress is absolutely vital for making informed decisions about your training and recovery. Functional overreaching, when carefully managed and strategically implemented, can be a useful tool for stimulating adaptation and pushing your performance to new heights. However, non-functional overreaching, and especially overtraining, are dangerous territory that should be avoided at all costs. By understanding the difference between these states, you can proactively protect your hard-earned progress, optimize your training, and ensure long-term athletic success. Exercise is controlled stress, triggering adaptation and growth. Cortisol, the stress hormone, helps mobilize energy and manage inflammation after workouts. But when stress is constant, training too hard too often, cortisol stays elevated. Chronic high cortisol turns destructive, breaking down muscle instead of building it. Your hard work starts working against you. High cortisol also disrupts other hormones, especially testosterone. When testosterone drops and cortisol stays high, your body shifts from building to breaking down. This hormonal imbalance is a key reason performance plummets during overtraining. The testosterone to cortisol ratio is a crucial marker for training stress. Ignore it, and you risk undermining your fitness from the inside out. Overtraining disrupts more than just cortisol and testosterone. The HPA axis, the body's stress command center, gets thrown off balance. Thyroid hormones drop, slowing metabolism and causing fatigue and stubborn fat gain. Your body enters self-preservation mode, storing fat and conserving energy. Mood suffers too. Serotonin and dopamine levels fall, leading to irritability and low motivation and even depression. It's not just mental, it's a real biological response. Sleep becomes elusive as cortisol stays high at night, ruining recovery. Poor sleep then worsens hormonal chaos, trapping you in a vicious cycle. Overtraining ruins sleep, and bad sleep accelerates overtraining. Breaking this cycle is essential for recovery and progress. The cruel irony of overtraining is that more effort leads to worse results. You train harder, but strength and speed decline. Neuromuscular fatigue sets in. Your brain's signals to muscles weaken. Movements feel clumsy and coordination drops. Endurance tanks as muscle glycogen stores stay depleted. Workouts that once felt easy now leave you drained. Research confirms overtraining reliably reduces strength, power, and performance. Pushing past your recovery capacity doesn't build resilience. It systematically dismantles your abilities. You become weaker, slower, and more injury-prone. The solution isn't more work, it's smarter recovery. Overtraining devastates your immune system. Chronic training stress keeps your body's defenses down, leaving you open to constant illness. Elevated cortisol suppresses immune cells, making you catch every bug. Frequent sickness is a clear sign your training load is too high. It's a vicious cycle. Train hard, get sick, rest, then overtrain again, until you break the loop. Spotting overtraining early is crucial. Watch for deep fatigue that sleep doesn't fix. A consistently high resting heart rate signals your body is under stress. Mood changes, irritability, low motivation, mental fog are red flags. Persistent muscle soreness and frequent minor injuries mean recovery is lagging. If gym sessions feel like a chore and you're always tired, listen to your body. These aren't character flaws, they're biological warnings. Use fitness trackers to monitor trends. Don't ignore aches, pains, or a drop in performance. Your body is telling you to back off. Address these signs early to avoid full-blown burnout. Prevention is always easier than recovery. Preventing overtraining isn't just about avoiding hard work. It's about strategically managing your body's response to stress. It's about understanding that pushing your limits requires an equal commitment to recovery. Think of it as a balanced equation. Intense training on one side and smart recovery strategies on the other. It's not about shying away from challenges or avoiding hard work, but rather intelligently integrating recovery into your training regimen. Sleep is undeniably your most powerful recovery tool. It's the foundation upon which all other recovery strategies are built. Aim for a consistent 7-9 hours nightly. This is when your body repairs muscle tissue, replenishes energy stores, and consolidates learning. Prioritize establishing a consistent sleep routine. This signals to your body that it's time to wind down and prepare for rest. And make a conscious effort to limit screen time before bed. The blue light emitted from electronic devices can interfere with melatonin production, disrupting your sleep cycle. Nutrition matters immensely. It's the fuel that powers your workouts and the building block for recovery. Ensure you eat enough calories to support your activity level. Undereating can hinder recovery and increase your risk of injury. Focus on consuming adequate protein to repair muscle tissue and carbohydrates to replenish glycogen stores. And remember to refuel after your workouts with a combination of protein and carbohydrates to kickstart the recovery process. Structure your training program with strategically planned rest days. These aren't days of inactivity, but rather opportunities for your body to rebuild and adapt. Incorporate deload weeks every 4-8 weeks. These weeks involve reducing the intensity and volume of your training to allow for full recovery and prevent burnout. Remember, rest isn't a sign of weakness, it's a strategic component of progress, allowing your body to adapt and become stronger. Integrate active recovery into your routine. This could include activities like stretching, foam rolling, gentle yoga, or even a leisurely walk. These activities help to boost blood flow to your muscles, which aids in the removal of waste products and reduces muscle soreness. They promote recovery without placing additional stress on your body. Research consistently demonstrates that techniques like foam rolling can significantly aid in muscle recovery and improve flexibility. By strategically combining sufficient sleep, optimal nutrition, and consistent active recovery methods, you'll set yourself up for the best possible results. Make your recovery efforts just as intentional and structured as your workouts. Plan your rest days, schedule your active recovery sessions, and prioritize your sleep. That's the key to training hard, pushing your limits and staying healthy in the long run. It's about finding that sweet spot where you're challenging yourself while also nurturing your body's ability to recover and adapt. Fitness is a marathon, not a sprint. More isn't always better. Overtraining proves it. The body needs rest to adapt and grow. Shift your mindset, train smarter, not just harder. Listen to your body's signals and respect your limits. True strength is knowing when to recover. Treat training as a partnership with your body. Consistent progress comes from balancing effort and recovery. Sustainable fitness means avoiding burnout and injury. The real secret progress happens as much during recovery as in the gym.